The year was 1952, and the world was a pretty happening place. Harry S. Truman was rocking the White House.
The buck stops here.
Mr. Potato Head was patented. The Yankees won the World Series, and you could buy a car with built-in AC. But most people agree, the most exciting thing in 1952 happened in a little town called Altoona, Pennsylvania, when a guy named Bob opened up the world's first Sheetz store. In 1952, Bob Sheetz set out to create a store that was centered around something he was really passionate about, taking care of people. Bob wanted to create a place where his customers could quickly and easily get stuff they needed, like fresh milk or a loaf of bread, with super friendly and helpful style, which everybody knows is Bob's trademark. Call it crazy, but Bob set out to build a business on providing something that he felt people really needed, really great service and total customer focus.
We had dairy stores in the family because we had a family dairy business. They had one store that I wanted to buy. I had been working in it. My father reluctantly said he would sell it to me. I had $990. The total inventory came out to $1,006. He said, just give me the $900, keep the $90 to put in the register to make change in your first day of business. That's how number one got started. It was called Sheetz Dairy Store.
Bob decided he needed some quality help, so he hired his brother Steve part-time.
At the age of 12, I worked 25 hours a week. My hours were 8 a.m. till 1 p.m., Monday to Friday, because our father wanted us out of bed early and out of the house. So I worked 8 to 1 with Bob, and today I would be what you call a facilities person. Bob said, you're not allowed to ring the register for 1 year. So I cleaned the parking lot, and I cleaned the windows, and I stocked the shelves. I made 80 cents an hour, and worked 25 hours, and I look forward to that Friday and getting 20 bucks.
Back in 1952, 53, we had a delicatessen case. And as we sold more and more lunch meat, carry-out lunches, I got the idea to put in a lunch counter. And we were in the lunch business.
The business was really starting to take off, and by 1969, the Sheetz boys opened up their third store. That was also the year Steve was named general manager. Business continued to grow, and things were great. Stan Sheetz, Bob's son and Steve's nephew, was added to the payroll.
I think my father, Bob, looked at me and he saw cheap labor and put me to work. I do remember him telling me at one point in time that I was being paid 50 cents an hour, but I really don't recall ever getting any money. But it all worked out. We all had fun. Working at store number one, it was a good time.
The team had a master plan to grow to 7 stores by 1972. They nailed it, and then some. In 1972, the company expanded from 7 to 14 stores.
I hired Aunt Bess, who happened to be Stan's aunt. Everybody wanted to come in and get her pies. We were food first, but gasoline came along.
In the early 70s, Steve talked Bob into adding gasoline pumps to the stores and introducing self-serve gasoline to central Pennsylvania.
Steve had been at the NACS Convenience Store Convention. And one of the items they had on there was convenience stores selling self-serve gasoline. We learned how to be good gasoline marketers.
1976 rolled around and Sheetz ventured out, opening the very first Sheetz store outside the state of Pennsylvania. Over the next few years, the business really grew like crazy, with stores popping up all over. And then in 1983, the 100th Sheetz store was opened.
Bob always said that when he opened his 100th store that he was going to retire.
Of course, we had to make sure 100 was in Altoona, and there's a huge crowd there. And I'm speaking, and I pull the microphone, boom, right from the cord. Now we've got no microphone. Now I'm screaming because there's trucks coming by there. And that was store number 100. And at store 100, Bob said, brother, I'm headed to Florida. And he left.
Bob left on a high note, retiring and handing over the leadership of his company to Steve. Around that time, Louis Sheetz, Big Joe Sheetz, and Charlie Sheetz came on board to help grow the company.
Bob really taught Joe the real estate business, and Joe was just so good at picking sites. Beyond that, he had just a real feel for the business, for the people, the customer, the employee, and he just did so much at our executive committee meetings. He just kept us grounded all the time. Charlie came with us back in the late 70s and went on to open the restaurants. He became our restaurant man. And of course, Louis is still active in the business as Executive Vice President of Marketing. He's done a great job for us.
Along with spandex and parachute pants, the 80s brought lots of great things to the Sheetz business, including our most game-changing innovation ever, thanks to store manager Earl Springer.
He created the MTO on his own.
Earl had a great idea. He got slips of paper for customers to write their sandwich order on and specify their meat, cheese, and toppings of choice. And boom, that was the beginning of Made to Order. Soon the Sheetz brothers figured out a way to make MTO food even better. And by the early 90s, touchscreen ordering was introduced. It took off and Sheetz became the place for great food. The 90s brought lots of growth. Sheetz could be found in Virginia, West Virginia, and Ohio. We now covered 5 states. And to top it off, in '95, we were inducted into the Convenience Store News Hall of Fame. Steve passed the torch and put Stan in charge as president, while he became chairman of the board. And brothers Travis and Joe Sheetz were added to the Sheetz team. In the usual risk-taking style, the Sheetz family tried lots of new and innovative ideas. Some of them worked, and some of them didn't. But the business continued to flourish, and by the early 2000s was ranked by Forbes and won the restaurant industry's coveted Silver Plate Award for exceptional food. Not bad for a gas station.
That's an insult. Just because we look like a gas station doesn't mean we are a gas station. People have got to get used to this new brand when it enters their neighborhood, and it's going to be called Sheetz. That place called Sheetz is definitely different. It's unique, and there's no place like it.
But for the Sheetz family, it's not always about business. They're committed to helping people in the communities they serve. And over 6 decades, their commitment has flourished as Sheetz Family Charities.
The way we were raised taught us a sense of giving, how to give back. We feel a need to give back to the community, to young people, organizations, to churches, to the needy in general.
You know, Sheetz Family Charities was Sheetz Family Christmas. I always think of Sheetz Family Christmas. The first year, I remember, they raised $10,000 because they only had like a month to do it. $10,000 and took 100 kids shopping.
You know, it caught on, I think, just by word of mouth because everybody had such a great time, and we all realized, you know, from the very beginning that, you know, this is really a great thing.
And then from that, we just kind of kept evolving. And then it changed names to Sheetz Family Charities as we began to help the Make-A-Wish, where we had one family from each district. Our idea was always to involve all of the communities and always kind of be part of each of the communities in which we operate.
I think it's our family culture. Started with my father. We would learn the value of giving and the Sheetz value that stuck with all the family members to this day.
We ramped up the food offerings with new stuff like MT Go, Sheetz, and Sheetz Brothers Coffee. People liked it, so we kept rolling with it. The Millennium also brought a whirlwind of innovation, including new store design, a new logo, an expanded fleet of trucks, and the introduction of our first convenience restaurant.
Just because we don't look like a restaurant doesn't mean we're not one.
The Millennium also brought the opening of the first ever Sheetz Distribution Center in 2001 and the Sheetz Brothers Kitchen in 2008. And no decade would be complete without new Sheetz locations and new adventures like moving into North Carolina. The new Millennium brought new Sheetz family members to the business, Adam, Ryan, and Ashley.
We need to have as many young people with young minds coming into this business and making it happen and making it change.
We started in the convenience store business with food. Today, we are a food and beverage company with convenience.
The more we listened to our customers and gave them what they asked for, the more they stood by us. I mean, really stood by us. We're talking nearly 4 million loyalty cardholders, 500,000 Facebook fans, and counting. In fact, we've got the most loyal, most awesome fans in the world. We call them Sheetz freaks.
But all of this takes people, dedicated people, like we have now, and all future hires as we expand over the next 5, 10, and 25 years.
The people in the end are really what built this business.
My fantasy is that someday every Sheetz employee will be happier punching in than they are punching out. And that will happen because the work environment that every management person at Sheetz has created is so positive, so friendly, and so much fun that everybody just loves coming to work.
What started off as a small dairy store in Altoona, Pennsylvania in 1952 has turned into something way bigger than we could have ever imagined. We're no longer just a place where people stop for gas or food. We are a part of the fabric of their lives. We are the favorite for a lot of people, and that's not something we take lightly. We keep working hard to satisfy them, the same as we did on the first day we opened in 1952.
Tomorrow, we will continue to grow and meet our customer needs.
What's our next innovation? Time will tell, but it's certain to be a game changer because that's just how we roll. Nearly 430 locations in 6 states, 15,000 employees, and a 6-pack of whoop-ass opened up on the convenience store and quick-serve restaurant industries. We've got 60 years under our belts, and we promise we're just getting started.